Okay, here we are back. I got everything together to show you how to finish this up. Anyway, you can see that I put the seat in, and you can see the two arms that come up here to support it. And like I said, you can choose whichever way you want to do it. All right. One other thing we did is I come in here to the, I guess this was the navigator's desk. There will be a map supplied in your kit. It's printed on onion skin, so it looks like just looks like printed on map paper. There's also will be included a real small piece of brass, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's I did it like a compass, and all you do is take that brass and bend it in half, and then take another small piece of brass and make a slight curvature to it, and that'll make it makes it look like a compass, and just paint the whole thing black. With that, there'll be a small piece included in there, and you can make it whatever size you want. There was also, I don't know if it was a radar box or what, but anyway, I replicated off of a picture I found. Anyway, it's just painted up. Looked like on the main part was a silver color. I hope you can see this. Let's back out. The main part was like the viewing area was silver, and then it had some knobs down here, and they were red and blue, and the overall was black, and it's just glued in place on the wall here. The steering column was made as two pieces of resin. You just have to make sure you clean them up and sand them nice and flush on the back, and it is glued. There's a little pedestal on the top, and it's glued directly to the center of that, and that makes your wheel. This is the finished product. Once you do that, once you figure out where you want it, you need to set it in place in the cockpit area and figure out where you want it. And what I did is I just drilled a hole in the bottom of this, a 16th, I think it was 16th inch, and a 16th inch here, and put a toothpick in it so I can push it in place, and then eventually I can glue it in permanently. But anyway, that is the I guess joystick, control arm, whatever you'll call it. There are two chairs needed. There was one, actually there's a third one back here, but we're not going back that far. There's one here for the navigator, and then also the main pilot seat. They're both made out of the same piece. It comes just like this. You have to cut it out all the way around, and you need to cut the arms to where they are, or the side panels to where there's no, where it's flat. Okay. Now the real one had armrest on it, and those can be easily made out of some small pieces of 1/8 inch or 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch square balsa or light ply or spruce or something, and they just came out and just a little ways, and they were armrest. Chair looked just like this, and the armrest came off. Okay, there also is an armor plate. It is supplied. You need to cut it as closely as you can all the way around, leaving just a little bit of the back turned on it, so it keeps a little bit of rigidity. And that is, you figure out how high you want it, and you glue it to the back of the chair. There are two pedestals included for the seat to be glued to. There's a taller one for the main pilot, and the bottom one is a 1/2 inch, and they will be included. Just glue the chair to it, and then glue the chair to the floor. I've got this set up. I'm still waiting on my pilots to get in here, but I got it set up where they can sit in place, and the armor covers the back of his head. The place I'm getting these pilots from, they're going to have a different head. These are jet pilots, and they're going to have the World War II style. On the pilots, as far as the control column here to go between the legs, some of these come in, and it's just the way they're molded. They are molded with them a little bit closer together. They're easy to fix. You just take a heat gun like you use to do your monocoat, and take a wooden wedge and just heat the back area up here just until it starts to get soft. You push that wedge in there and leave it, and once it's dry, once it cools off, they'll stay. It's just good. It's the way that resin acts, so it works out well. They'll have the feet and arms and all later on. Okay, but once you get these all done, you can glue those in your final position. If you're going to put a engineer in here, you can find, once you figure out where you want to set him, you can glue this in place. This is a real easy install. I'll come back here and show you how to do it. this thing is just, I made it, it's a one solid unit. It comes in really easy. You just have to grab it. Let's see if I can back up a little bit. Oops, I'm about to lose my compass. Best thing to do is just hold it and come up from the bottom, reach in and grab the tops and just bring it on up and lock one side and then the other, and then you're locked into place. Let's see here. It just comes up and you can just drop it right into place. All right. Now that can be ready to be glued in. Now there will be enough plastic that you can put a back on it to lock it in, and also a front, and you can reach your fingers in there. You just have to paint them black and glue them to the back sides of the cockpit area. The dash, like I said, you need to put a piece of a balsa on the back of it to keep its rigidity. Anyway, to fit it in, it goes in really easily. You just slide it in here, and using your fingers on the back side, let's see if I can get this done. Using your fingers on the back side, we push it into place. There's some lightning holes in the wood, and you just push it into place. And like I said, you may have to trim the bottom of this to where it sits on top of the pedestal here. Okay, and then the rest goes in pretty easily. Your control column, and then your seat. And if you're going to do a pilot, you need to go put him in and set them right in place. And that's pretty easy to do. Let's see here. What I'm going to do now is that pretty much covers this area here. I'm going to switch around. I did do a bomb sight and a couple more small pieces for the front end. So I'm going to get that stuff together and come back and show you how to put that in. We'll cut that. And to make the cuts, we're going to come... okay guys, here we are at the bombardier section. Anyway, this area is pretty tight. There's not a lot you can add to it. And also, I believe that this plane is actually a tad wider than scale, because it didn't kind of round off as much as this one does. I don't believe from the documentation I'm looking at. But anyway, the first thing I think you need to do, and I've talked to somebody, I think the weakest part of this whole model is the seam that you have all the way around. I mean, you know, all the way around here. And you need to add something to that to give you a little bit more strength, because over time that's going to be the weak point, and you may have some cracking, or it may just, not cracking, but just where it just comes apart, because I don't know what kind of glue they use. Anyway, what I do to all my seams, and it seems to work good, is I just use something called plumbing goop, G-O-O-P, and I use that on all the seams. You just put a small bead, and what it does, it spreads the load out over, it seals the area and spreads the load out over the whole area there. And you can't get it off. I mean, you can get it off, but it's really hard. I mean, it stays flexible. I glue all my canopies on with it. It works pretty well. Anyway,